Hello and welcome to Scared in the Name of Science.
Very excited to announce the start of our journey into researching and investigating the paranormal. Before we start, we felt that it would be important to address some key factors about how we will be conducting ourselves during this project. First and foremost, let us start by saying that one of us is a skeptic and the other is a true believer. Can you guess who is who? But we are both deeply interested in stories, lore, and the mythology surrounding the paranormal. The data we collect and present will be gathered by us and interpreted by us. Please do not in any way take the data we present as evidence for or against the existence of the paranormal. It is simply data that we have collected.
Usually when conducting an experiment or investigation, a great effort is made to make sure that all the data generated is true, reproducible, accurate and reliable. This essentially boils down to making sure that the result is consistent, meaning that we are able to get the same result multiple times, that someone else is able to replicate the data following the method that has been outlined, and that the data has been generated within strictly set parameters. Knowing this, we are aware that our findings are not conclusive or accurate.
The three main reasons that what we present cannot be taken as 100% accurate are as follows.
Number 1, the lack of calibrated equipment. The equipment that we will be using will not be calibrated. This means that there may be cases of equipment malfunction or it simply is not performing at the standard level. This essentially means that we are incapable of taking precise measurements, and this should be taken into consideration when judging the validity of our data.
Number 2, lack of a closed environment. Unlike in a laboratory environment, we will be dealing with many influencing external factors. For example, weather conditions and proximity to power lines and other EMF altering locations. There may be influences that we are not even aware of which could impact data.
Number 3, human error and machine error. We are not infallible. We all make mistakes. Our equipment might break and we could draw the incorrect conclusion. We are only people and we all mess up sometimes, though we do our best not to. Despite these pitfalls, we will be gathering data and presenting it as impartially and as accurately as we were able to. Remember, reproducibility is vital, so feel free to go out and investigate yourselves.
Maybe see if you can get the same results as we do. Wouldn't that be fascinating?
This endeavour is for entertainment only. We are not so arrogant as to assume that only we can definitively prove these things, or not.
That aside, we are so thrilled to be able to share in this journey with you. If you have any ideas on how to improve the validity of the data we generate, please let us know. We hope that you enjoy. Within the town of Tredegar in Blaenau Gwent, there are 3 cemeteries all referred to as the Cefn Golau Cemetery, 2 of which are easily accessible and still in use. The new and old Cefn Golau Cemetery is located across the road from one another. But the old one is eerie, full of old trees, worn tombstones and suspicious corners that paths don't lead to. But it also has a protected wildflower area too, and this contrast is only added to by the juxtaposition afforded from the brightly lit B road on one side and the misty dark mountain moors on the other. However, the new cemetery across the road is more well kept, with all sorts of adornments on the graves to celebrate and mourn those who have passed. But these are not the graveyards that myself and Al were interested in. Oh no. The one we were on the lookout for is much trickier to find, especially in the pitch black dark of a cold October night. Located off of a country road near a fishing pond is the Cefn Golau Cholera Cemetery, which was only used for a period of 40 years, but details an important part of the history of Tredegar and indeed the Welsh Valleys as a whole. The only remaining place like this in Wales, this haunting place dates back to 1832 and was used to bury those who succumbed to the 4 cholera pandemics that broke out in 1831 to 1832, 1848 to 1849, 1854 and 1866, and it is now a scheduled monument, meaning it is protected. Cholera killed thousands of people across Britain during the 4 outbreaks, with the Welsh Valleys being particularly badly hit compared to other places such as Cardiff and Newport. In fact, Merthyr Tydfil had 4 times the number of deaths compared to Cardiff in the pandemic of 1848 to 1849, and in fact, cholera was known as the Blue Death at the time. This disease, which was so fast-acting that it could have perfectly healthy people on one morning, dead by the evening, created panic and fear within the tight-knit working-class communities of the valleys. Before the understanding of how the disease spread in the 1850s by Dr. Snow, it was widely considered a poor person's disease, seen as a punishment by the Almighty for the sinful poor. But when this began to spread to the rich, everyone knew that was not the case. People turned to ridiculous remedies such as the cholera belt, which was supposed to keep the abdomen warm, as supposedly a cold tummy could lead to stomach issues. But it also led to a resurgence in religious belief, with many new chapels and churches being built or expanded during the 19th century, including one just down the road from Cefn Golau. This increased religious belief and fear of the disease led to fewer and fewer people going outdoors, with many staying inside. Sounds familiar, huh? It also led to people refusing to attend funerals for victims for fear of contagion, as they still didn't know how it was spread. There was so much stigma attached to the disease that cemeteries had to be created that were away from the main population, and some people would even bury their loved ones at night to avoid ostracisation. Thus, Cefn Golau Cholera Cemetery was born. Now, although there are no reported ghosts here due to the remoteness of the area, myself and Al felt it was worth an investigation, as it would be an effective area to test our EMF, due to the lack of electronic interferences on the top of a mountainside and the cemetery's removal from any defined roads. According to our research, there were no overhead or underground electronic infrastructure either, and therefore any results we collected could not be subject to that. On our investigation, we took with us an EMF reader, 2 iPhones, one for recording and one for Ghost Tube Vox, a UV torch, a pendulum and writing utensils, as well as torches. Quick disclaimer, this is our first time properly filming anything for the channel, so I do apologise if the footage is not of the quality that you are hoping. It is something we are planning to work on, and every single episode that we do, we still learn things, so please bear with us and don't turn off just because it's a little bit janky. Here's our investigation. Enjoy!
Okay, we are recording.
So, we are on the hunt for Cefn Golau Cemetery, not the current ones, but the Cholera Cemetery, which has been long abandoned and is far outside the town of Tredegar. It's by a beautiful pond with a swan, a mummy swan or a daddy swan. I don't know, I'm not going to gender them. And their babies, which is
Over here?
yeah. We explained we didn't have bread and they were not happy about it.
No. It is bloody cold.
I can't see. Shine your torch down here somewhere?
Hold on, can you hold the thingy and I'll do the zoom?
Yeah.
Thank you.
And we're trying to find...
Any hint of gravestones?
Yeah.
We this was a bit impulsive on our part, so we didn't scope out the area in daylight.
So we're on a very much a mess around and find out vibe.
Yeah.
Do you want to take the back?
Yeah, absolutely. Do I have spare batteries? No, I don't. Do I have any of my usual kit? No, I don't. Rox is equipped with an EMF.
Yep. And a UV torch.
And
I've got my notebook.
And a notebook. And I've got a big torch, my phone.
And I have my phone also.
And a first aid kit in the car.
According to my map,
Oh.
it's down there somewhere.
Another car's pulled in nearest. Don't know how I feel about that. And now lights are on, so I can't see my car anymore.
Apparently it's down this way.
Alright.
Okay.
Okay. I think they're just here for some canoodling.
Good for them. So we're here for a different kind of canoodling. Ghost canoodling.
Yeah, I don't want that kind of canoodling either. As you may have been able to deduce, we have a another guest who will be aiding in our investigation when Rox is leading us on a wild goose chase. Ugh. I'm not in the right footwear for this. Hello, knockoff Converse.
Well, if we end up actually in another problem, I'm not really happy.
Oh, more cars coming. Goody. I love abandoning my car.
Well, I found an opening. Great, awesome.
Okay, we've got a fence.
This way. Fantastic.
Oh,
There,
oh,
right
oh,
there.
headstones. Oh, I don't like noise.
Sorry.
No, that's not you, it's them. It was a car, yeah. This is, to be honest, hold on, I don't know if you can see it better without the, I saw these shapes and thought it was cattle.
Is this electrocuted?
No. Doink.
This is it?
This is it.
This is the cholera burial ground, which dates back to the 19th century. At the time, there were sporadic outbursts of cholera that occurred in various parts of Britain, and this being a very remote town at the time saw an increase in that. The victims were buried in specially designated burial grounds in remote locations because of the mistaken belief that it was caused by contagion instead of being waterborne. The first major cholera epidemic to strike Tredegar was in 1832 to 1833. A more serious one followed in 1849 in London, which took over 14,000 lives. It was twice as bad as the outbreak in the 1830s in England, and it was also worse in Cefn Golau. There was a smaller outbreak in 1866, and in 1849 the disease had already struck the neighbouring communities of Rumney and Nantiglow before reaching the town again. As the number of victims rose, sorry, I just got like a shiver, scarcely a street in Tredegar remained unaffected. The doctors searched for remedies without success. People left their homes and fled into the countryside while others stayed indoors. Many sought help from their religion and the chapels were packed, but still the death toll mounted. People could appear to be fit in the morning and then be dead by evening. The disease caused so much fear that few people were willing to help bury the victims. With the arrival of colder and wetter weather in the autumn, the number of new infections gradually dwindled. The outbreak killed 52,000 people in England and Wales. Now, this is a scheduled ancient monument, which is really cool to know that this is a protected area, hence why it's fenced up. There are little mushrooms on the ground, which is quite interesting, because this is also supposed to be an area that is potentially haunted by the Booker, which we've mentioned in previous episodes. So I really hope I've not stepped into a fairy ring by accident.
Probably not, no such thing.
I do believe in fairies, I do. There are lots of headstones here dated from 1832, and some of them have boldly cut scripts and elegant floral designs, and we'll have a look in a second at those. One of the memorials specifically is to Thomas James, who died on the 18th of August 1849, aged 24. And on his tombstone, the inscription reads, "One night and day I bore great pain, to try for cure was all in vain. But God knew what to me was best, did ease my pain and give me rest." And I'm not gonna lie, I've got all the back of my neck going up.
Oh, I can't feel anything, my fingers are too cold.
Like, I've got shivers all the way up the back of my neck and spine.
Rowan, what are you making of all this? Thank you.
So I think we delve in a little bit deeper and take some measurements, potentially?
Yeah.
It's eerily still for the top of the mountain.
It is.
You know, I really expected more.
I do have to say I'm loving the glow from that house.
Yeah.
Although it must be quite eerie to live in a house overlooking
3 graveyards?
Yeah.
Because this isn't the only one, there are 2 more behind us.
Wow, okay. So tread carefully because there's a lot of discarded grave. Rowan, get your torch out because we're in a pitch black. And I don't want you to trip. Yeah, so we're seeing, I mean, we've got to be careful of things like this. It's quite a poorly maintained gravesite, sinking in places.
Yeah, there are lots of...
There's lots of dips. There's lots of dips in the earth.
A lot of the tombstones are no longer.
Standing.
Yeah.
I mean, you could just look at the stump of this one.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's a little bit hard to. I am watching where I'm stepping, but in the dark it can be a bit tricky to see, unfortunately. Yeah, there's these three. I can't make out any designs on them. I'm sure they would have been very beautifully inscribed once upon a time.
Careful, that is something grave.
What I thought was the other side.
I'm trying really hard not to like step on any.
Yeah, it's nope, that.
But they are packed quite closely together.
Yeah. Some are a lot easier to tell, like this one. This one hasn't been quite as there's still some vague inscription, and you can see the stone here.
Sacred to the
Memory of Mary Ann, wife and
age 29, I think.
Wife and daughter, I want to say. Yeah. So it's quite eerie. It's very cold, and you know what a sad place. I don't find all cemeteries sad, but I just find this one quite sad in particular because of how kind of left to time it's been.
Yeah.
I don't know, Rox, if you're sharing similar sentiments.
I actually think this is a really calm place.
It's calm, but do you not find it sad?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, we were talking about mushrooms earlier. Look at these. Aren't they
I
fantastic?
found the inscription
Oh,
right here.
oh, careful. Oh, hold on. Do you know what? It's easier without my torch, actually.
So,
That's Thomas James.
and then one night and so forth of great pain. One night and day I bore great pain, to try for cure was all in vain. But God knew what to me was best, and ease my pain and give me rest. And I hope you have been able to rest,
Yeah.
Thomas.
That bums me out.
I think this might be a good place,
Yeah.
with lots of mushrooms.
Careful of that grave in
Yes.
particular. So, you know, when I stumbled on a grave, I wasn't being disrespectful. It's a bit tricky.
Okay, so we are recording some EMF to start off with. Nothing
Nothing.
right now. So I'm going to take a couple walk arounds and see if there is anything.
Now, I have spotted stray torch beams off in the distance a bit, so I'll keep my eye on that. Rowan's gone back to check on the car.
I would be very surprised if any EMF came up, I'm not going to lie.
See, that light is getting really bright to us now.
Okay, it might be someone coming to ask what we're doing.
Close case.
Nothing here with EMF. This is... Okay, let's head on out
Yeah.
and wrap that up there before we get
Careful.
told off for whatever we're going to get told off for. Isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think we'll... And they are heading this way. As you can see, I'm quite a suspicious person when it comes to nocturnal travelling.
They're probably also the same as us, freaking out because random people are in the dark.
Rox is going to be doing some spirit box recordings once this car skedaddles, but I don't think they are skedaddling actually. No swearing, don't worry. Nice, I got that on video.
Nice.
Stunning. Kebab,
Okay,
kebab
right.
dropping serious.
Oh, I love Welsh people. If you're out here, could you say hello? How long have you been here?
If anyone is here, could anyone say anything, please? I don't know what that means, sorry.
Didn't like that response.
No.
If Thomas is here, could you say hello?
Do you think we sound too English? You want to talk to us?
Thomas? So we're going to try and speak a bit of Welsh. See if that has any effect.
Sure. Not so far, guys.
Ghosts want a party.
I don't know what enough Welsh for.
Sut wyt ti? What's like that? How do you say my name is?
Beth ydy dy enw di?
Okay. It sounds Welsh.
Sounds like gibberish. And that's not a critique of the Welsh language, I just don't think it sounds like Welsh.
Noswaith da. Roxy
Ydw i.
ydw i.
Beth ydy enw di? Ble wyt ti'n byw?
It's like, huh?
Is anyone out here that would like to speak to us? Come closer and say something? Try again? So as I was reading the inscription which is on Thomas's grave, and I've never had this before mine, so it's not like it could have been caused by just anything, every single hair on the back of my neck going into the base of my skull rose, and I wasn't cold at all. As we were walking there, I was cold, but as soon as we were in that cemetery, I felt like I could have walked around without my jacket on and stuff. I felt it wasn't temperature problem. And as soon as I finished reading it, my spine relaxed back down. It was just as I was reading that inscription that every single hair on the back of my neck went up. I'm not kidding you.
Okay.
Like, I've never experienced that before.
Fair enough. So, you know, do you think you could have spooked yourself, or do you think it was more...
Potentially. It could have been that I was just really getting into the vibe of it. However, when we were reading the inscription again, right next to the gravestone, that didn't happen. So I don't know, it just seemed really weird and coincidental that at the same time as I was reading that, when we first stepped into the area, that was my experience. It wasn't a temperature thing. I didn't really see many flying bugs around there.
No, you're right, there was a lack of moths and that sort of stuff.
Did anyone else experience anything?
I just felt cold, but that's because I was cold. And I would say I was more unnerved by the lights, the
people,
torch lights. I was more unnerved by the people.
I wasn't unnerved during that, apart from by people. I actually felt that entire graveyard was quite calm and serene. I'm not gonna lie, my forever after, if I had to be buried somewhere, this is pretty ideal.
No, it's too bleak for me. I'd like something a bit more optimistic. Personally.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Ro, what about you?
It was a bit cold.
Yeah, it was a bit cold. I agree.
Yeah. Not as windy as I would have expected for like top of the hill.
Mm.
No, I'm not. There was some weird mist happening sometimes.
What was it?
Yeah,
Okay.
like as I was like panning torches around, kept like catching little bits of mist. Just like little bits, but it is like
The moors.
quite humid. It's quite cold.
And the moor weather's unpredictable.
Yeah.
So yeah, fair enough.
So
Interesting. I was just I didn't notice anything spooky, to be honest. I was just unsettled by the presence of the people.
I did think it was really interesting the amount of mushrooms that were there, especially considering the stories of the buka around here. That's quite interesting.
Yeah.
Different types of mushrooms too.
Yeah.
And I saw a really cool spider.
Ah,
neat.
Yeah.
very nice.
So you can find us on Threads, Instagram, Reddit, YouTube, Spotify. Is there anywhere else?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah. So please feel free to hit us up on that. And if you see any videos or posts or anything that you'd like us to talk about or explore, please tag us in it.
At Sitnos.
#SITNOS. And we also have our email address, scaredatthenameofscience@gmail.com, which if you have anything you want to tell us about and want us to analyse or deep dive into, please send it there with any pictures or images that you have so we can take a little look and see.